I'm Cindy.
And I'm Doug. Welcome to YouTube Livecast. Thank you for joining us today. Hopefully you're watching this live, but you may not be. You may be watching a replay of it. But if so, that's okay. We're going to be covering a different topic every week. And our new format is we're going to be covering a new topic every week in our newsletter.
hmm
So if you're not subscribed to her newsletter, go to that at help.mom/cc and subscribe. And we'll have a link in there to this video. So if you're watching this today live, it probably means you got our newsletter and you clicked on the little link in our newsletter and presto change show, you're here. And so
I just love all this technology.
isn't that something?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
And today we've got really new, got a new app on our little iPad here, and all of that's new, and courtesy of Matt pointing it out to us. So a lot of changes, a lot of new stuff, a lot of tech.
So what are we talking about today?
We're talking today about what does mom do, and we hear this a lot from seniors, especially seniors that they still have capacity and they may have capacity forever. Your mom had capacity up until the day she died.
But her physical health was not
Her physical
great.
health started declining.
Yes.
So in a situation like that, very similar to your mom, that maybe mom starts declining a little bit, she needs help, she may know she needs help, but she just doesn't want to interfere. She knows you're busy, she knows you busy, 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 you got a million things going on. And sometimes the kids are even have kids at home, like our kids. you know their kids are like in every activity imaginable, and they're just busy. And
Yeah, so if one of us started to decline right now, the other one would be here for the help and support and care and everything. But if it was just one of us and we started to decline, it'd be very, very difficult for our kids to help.
and that's the thing that we see a lot,
A lot.
is that one spouse starts to decline, and then the other spouse starts taking care of them. And if you're 20 years old, that's not a big problem. But if you're 60 years old, you're 70 years old, 80 years old, that we see a lot of times the well spouse is not so well themselves, and they've got issues, and they're trying to take care of themselves and their spouse at the same time, and it's just a lot.
It is. And being a caregiver for your spouse, you don't notice it, but things just start to stack on top of each other until it gets up to this point and you are in above your head. So it's good. We got a little advice here. What do we do?
So if you're watching it to start with, we see this all the time. If dad's taking care of mom or mom's taking care of dad at home, they say, we're fine, everything's fine, we're fine, because they don't want to bug you, they don't want to impose. So if you're one of the seniors watching this, just know that it's better to get on top of this early, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, a few tips for you. But if you're one of the adult kids watching this, watch your mom and dad. And even though you go over there, call them on the phone, they say we're fine, maybe, maybe not. So keep your eye on that to make sure they are fine, because a lot of times we see the well spouse die before
Yeah.
the one maybe with Alzheimer's or dementia or something like that. But whether you're one of the adult kids or whether you're the well spouse trying to get organized, and if you are, by the way, congratulations on being very proactive. Here's a few things that you might do. First of all, kind of start getting organized, and don't have to happen overnight usually. Now, some situations we see crisis situations a lot, and it does have to happen overnight. But hopefully, you're
Yeah.
watching this where there's some time to plan. And one thing is your legal documents.
Right.
So,
Yes. If you lose capacity, stroke, heart attack, something major, and you can't communicate your healthcare wishes, you need to have legal documents in place so that someone can make those choices for you. Financial.
yeah, there's overlap between legal documents and financial. Like one of the legal documents you may have as a power of attorney. And if you're incapacitated, one of the things you may have authorized your power of attorney to do, which may be one of your kids, is to uh, access your accounts and use that money for your benefit. Well, we've seen situations, and it's getting to be more and more, that someone would have a power of attorney and it would be an old one. And, the kids would say, great, I'm appointed as mom's attorney in fact under a power of attorney. So they send it into the brokerage company and they look at it and the answer comes back, no, we don't think your mom authorized you to act on her behalf. Well, it says right here that, I can make any decisions or take actions on her behalf. Yeah, but we don't think it's specific enough. So even if she's got legal documents, or if you're the senior we're talking to, even though you say, yeah, I had that done, 20 years ago, well, you may want to go to your attorney and get that checked and make sure it's adequate enough, because things have changed a lot. And financial institutions, seems like we hear no a lot. No, it's not specific enough. So legal documents and financial issues sort of overlap. When we think of legal issues, sometimes people just think, well, I've got a will. Well,
Yeah.
that's this, who gets your stuff when you die. But what
Or I've
about,
got a living will.
yeah, yeah, living will. Yeah, and they miss those too. Living wills like the pull the plug thing. But
Yeah.
if you're incapacitated before you die, who can make decisions for you?
You want someone to be able to do that because you're going to you may very well need that. There are certain circumstances where you have to have an advocate with you if you can't speak for yourself, and they need to be able to speak to the doctors, look at your medical records, talk to the nurses. So they need this written authority. Okay, how about, what do you want? Do you know what you want? Do you know
Hmm.
where you want to live? Do you know who you want around you? Do you know where you don't want to live? And I know these are difficult things to talk about, but we're in difficult times. Things are changing around us, and we want you to be prepared for what is coming. So how do they do that?
Well, again, if you've got time to plan, if you're in good shape now, just start gathering information, start doing some research. And if you're watching this and you're in good shape, you may think, well, I want to live at home. I'm at home. That's where I want to live, at home. All right, well, you can live at home, but what if you start declining a little bit? Well, I still want to be at home. One
And
thing
you
to,
can.
and
You
you
can
can
stay.
with some planning. For example, um, we my cousin and her husband just downsized, moved to a smaller place, and they made sure that the home they moved into, was the doors were wider, where if they ever had to be in a wheelchair, they could get into it. It's the ground level that they could just roll into. Now, if you live in a house that's not ground level, you may want to, construct a ramp, at least one, where you could get in the house if you had to. Can
Hmm.
you just think, how wide is a wheelchair? Could you get down the halls to your house?
Can you get in the shower?
Could you get in the shower? Do you have like a walk-in tub or roll-in shower? Do you have grab bars and um, things to keep you from falling in the house? Have you looked to see, are there trip hazards, throw
Yeah.
rugs and stuff like that?
What are
So
the other options if you can't live at home? If it you can't live by yourself, and in-home care, it's always available, but it's right now about almost twice the cost of an institution like an assisted living or a long-term care skilled facility, a nursing home, which they have different prices depending on where you're at and what they offer. Would you consider that? You need to have this discussion with the people whose lives it's going to impact, the
yeah,
adult kids.
yeah, would and some people don't want like like non-medical home care coming into my house like that. I've heard people say, seniors say, well, I don't want strangers coming in my house. Well, I understand that. I don't either. But if it gets to the point where you got to have some help, well, do you want helpers coming in your home? Maybe you could get to know them a little bit and you're okay with them, they're okay with you. Would you want them in your home? Or some people to say, if it came to that, I'd rather be in assisted living facility or an independent living facility. And if that's the case, check those out. There's more options there now than there ever been before.
Absolutely.
There's some nice ones around. So, like you say, these are just some things you want to think about, and you want to, think about your options. What would you want? What would I want if I declined just a little bit? What would I decline, if I declined a lot more? And again, this whole premise we're talking about today, this is for you if you're one of the folks like we hear a lot that says, my kids are so busy, I just don't want to impose. I don't want to be a burden on them. Or maybe your kids live out of town or out of state.
Out of state.
And, they love you and they want to help, but they're 1,000 miles away. They can't physically be there to help. So, it's on you to be thinking about this stuff in advance to think, okay, if something happened, or maybe I'm declining right now, I need to speed up this thinking process a little bit. What systems or processes would I have in place to take care of me, if I decline more?
And and have I told my loved ones what I want? And is it in writing? How, if how are they going to know what you want?
And that's one thing, it's a lot sometimes. And so we help people in our law office. If you happen to live in the state of Arkansas, we help people with the state, not just the state planning process, the legal documents, but, part of it is like a life care plan and a planning journal and like sustainability plan. How long will your money last? And, a lot of these things are just things that are part of the planning process to think about what do I want, and practically speaking, how would it happen? How could we
Exactly.
make it, how can I make sure to make it happen?
Right. You can hope for it, but hope is not going to make it happen.
Yeah.
So you need to get a plan in place.
Yeah, and like you said, it's important to tell your kids this is what I
Absolutely.
want.
Absolutely.
But
Well, they're going to be involved
yeah,
at some point, whether they're named in the legal documents or they are providing some of the care, assistance, or supervision that you need, and you have a care contract with them, or it's just the fact that they love you and they want to help. So they need to know so they can kind of fit this into their time schedule too, right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
know, yeah, know, coordinate the care. Like
Coordinate it.
what are they doing, and what are the local caregivers doing? Sometimes there's a care manager, a local
Mm-hmm.
person that kind of if your kids live out of state or maybe out of the country,
Yeah.
care manager that facilitates or kind of oversees the care to make sure the caregivers, the hands-on caregivers, are doing what they want. And so there's all sort of things available. And if you're watching this and you don't say, well, I don't even know what all these options are, if you're in Arkansas, contact us. If you're in another state, you may contact uh, elder law attorney in your area, um, and get some more information about what options are available and get a plan in place that will work for you.
There's a lot of information on the newsletter, so sign up for the newsletter.
Yeah,
Help.mom/cc.
help.mom/cc. Yeah, there is. And stay plugged into that because we do that every week, and we're going to start talking about a different topic every week. This one is when mom wants to take care of herself, just doesn't want to interfere. What things can she do in advance to make sure she's got her plan in place?
Yeah, and what can you do if you know mom doesn't want to interfere, but you feel like something's not quite right. We need to help just a little. There's a lot of technology that you could use, and you would feel more comfortable knowing what's going on with mom. So lots of different things you can do if you're the senior wanting to plan not to interfere with the kids' lives, or if you're one of the adult children and you know mom doesn't want to interfere, but you feel like I got to help. We just need something to make everybody feel comfortable.
Thanks for watching today. Check out our newsletter, sign up if you hadn't already, help.mom/cc. Share this with a friend, and we appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time on Help Me Help Mama Livecast. Have a good day.